issues going on. I did a meta-analysis this last couple days. I was sick, so I had like 3 days to kind of pour over some research that had backed up, and this was the subject topic that we went over. So if you don't know what a meta-analysis is, basically I took a whole bunch of different peer-reviewed research about the subject and made an analysis of it, a synopsis, if you will,
cool.
over maybe 50 or so studies over the last 5 years. And basically, the overwhelming conclusion is kind of dismal. So I was going to give you just a quick synopsis of the data, and then
Sure.
kind of speak as to basically what's causing this, and then obviously what the fix is, because it's no good talking about it if we don't have a fix.
Sure.
The quick synopsis of the data: the major causes of mental instability. That's what we're talking about in children, especially. Now, this also relates to adults, but primarily the data reviewed was for children. The major causes of mental instability was first and foremost the disintegration of the primary family unit,
Right.
the fatherless homes
Yep.
in particular.
Yep.
The second was the after effects of the COVID lockdowns, especially in
Big time.
schools. That has been catastrophic.
Yes.
I could have a whole show just talking about that and the effects of the lockdowns and
Yes.
that whole debacle. The third one is, I'm going to give you the top 7 because we just don't have time to go over all of them, but the overdependence on technology,
Yes.
especially in the schools, but the overdependence on technology, especially in parenting as well, but just overall dependence on technology rather than in-person stuff. So that depersonalization is the after effect of that. Social media overindulgence, that's probably one of the biggest ones. I was going to come back for a show on that because that's huge. Right now, I'll just give you a quick stat on that. The more time spent, this is a meta-analysis of several peer-reviewed in Pew Research Center.
Pew Research.
Yeah, and also the Washington Post had some information on this. The more time spent on social media, the greater the prevalence of mental instability and psychological distress.
I can see
Hands
that.
down, bar none.
Yep.
Social media is one of the top 7 biggest influencers of mental instability and psychological distress, leading to all kinds of mental health issues, depression, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
The problem with it, and why it goes even further, is because it sexualizes children.
Exactly.
The overexposure to Instagram especially,
Yep.
there's so much over-sexualization of children on that forum in particular,
Yep.
as well as desensitizing violence
Right.
on social media, and TikTok as well.
Yep.
And then the next one is liberal ideation indoctrination in learning institutions in particular, and in social media.
Yep.
And then political corruption, especially of the core institutions, in particular,
Right.
the judicial system.
Yeah.
If there's no rule of law, and there's a permissiveness to drug use, and there's a decriminalization of crime and
Right.
felonies and violence, obviously that's going to affect mental health severely.
Yeah.
Touched on that a little bit last week. The poisoning of our food, that's another one too, because when you poison the food and the water, I'm talking with GMOs, I'm talking about with preservatives, I'm talking about the salt, sugars, fats, the toxins and dangerous ingredients that they're putting into these, or allowing into these foods,
Yep.
to make their profits higher and the nutrition value lower.
Yep.
That's devastating. Obesity in children alone is 70%, and the vast majority have obviously health-related issues
Wow.
with that, including diabetes, which is, I mean, it's catastrophic. So